we want to bring the attention to where they'll see it most, and they're not going to see us if we're just parading around downtown, just like chanting and doing our thing. So we bring it to them. We bring it to the white neighborhoods. We bring it like where they're dining and where they're sitting, so they can pay attention. And it's like, all right, you want to go to brunch? We'll bring the protest to you. Like, we don't mind.
What's up, everyone? My name is Walt. Now, if you're a day one listener, welcome back. And if you're a first time listener, thank you for joining us today. This is BossLocks, where we are redefining professionalism and speaking to Black leaders with natural hair. Now, I have a very special guest that I'm really looking forward to introduce you all today. But before I do, I want to invite you all to join the Patreon community that is BossLocks Village. It's a direct way for you to support me and the show. But more on that later, because I just want to get right into it. Today, I had the honor and privilege of speaking with Justin Dawes. Justin, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, man. I really appreciate being here.
Oh man, I'm glad. I'm glad this worked out, man. This is really quick too, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to you, hear about your journey, what you're doing, and what you're going through. This is a crazy times, and it feels like you're kind of right in all the crazy times too.
Like,
Now,
most of
uh,
it.
yeah, man, yeah. So, for those who don't know, Justin is a law school student, a campaign manager, and co-founder of DC Protest. Now, DC Protest is a really cool organization. They're a grassroots racial justice organization that organizes and distributes resources and educational tools that aid in propelling the mission of Black liberation. But not just that, but the opportunity for all of those who have been historically marginalized and disenfranchised, man. And they're not just out here collecting money. They're out here on the streets, man. I know you were out there yesterday, inauguration day. You're very active with the protests in the past year, and I'm just really looking forward to just learning more about all of that, what you do, and why you do it too. But before we get into all of that, I just have one question I want to start it all off with. You know, at Boss Lux, we believe there are 8,000 ways to be black. This concept came from Jasana McDaniel, and she observed basically and noticed all the different lifestyles that we could have as a black people, as a race community, and everything. You know, we always had this. I think the world, society, all the above has this mindset you could only be one way. Black is this and that. But she noticed, you know what? That is true, but there's also this and everything like that too. There's 8,000 ways. So with that in mind, my question for you is, how do you identify?
Right. So I would say like that's a really interesting question. It's a really unique question that's never been posed to me. And being biracial with my mom being white and my dad being black, and I've always identified black as being black. Like I don't really know. Like I'm at that state. Like and with this whole Black liberation movement, excuse me, it's really been a whole like I don't know factor. Like it's been a really coming to like of like who am I to as well.
Hmm. I feel that. Now, I think it's interesting. My sibling is biracial as well, and I've always called them black, like black. Just even when they were little, black. Of course, like their stepdad is white, and you know we all live together, but always identified them as black. But then one day, they kind of came uh, to the family, and it was like I'm not just black, I'm biracial. And it was kind of interesting moment because like I think that for well, I'm not gonna say all black people because some black people feel some type of way. But for the most part, I think we always usually just kind of welcome everyone, like, nah, you're black. Not only that, I think the world will just automatically identify you as that as well. But I think it's kind of interesting because as a biracial person, of course you're black, but you have a lot of different cultures that kind of tie into it. So I'm kind of curious, growing up, what was the household like? You know, your mom was white, your dad was black. Like, how were those conversations about race?
Yeah, so it was always like a real interesting conversation about race when we would go somewhere. I grew up in Virginia, and when we would go anywhere and it'd be like kind of rural or anything, my dad would be like, watch your surroundings, like watch this, watch that. And like I never really got it, being a kid,
Mhm.
you're like, watch for what? Like what am I looking for? Like, like it's just like you're looking for something so obvious and it's like, no, like you need to watch for like I guess your neighbor, those people that live around you that don't really agree with your skin color, don't really agree with what you are. So it's really interesting to like grow up and then you like experience it and you're like, wow, I do have to watch myself out here. Like it's really like it's dangerous now we see with all this insurrection stuff and like the counter movement to the Black liberation movement, I would say, like these white nationalists calling themselves Proud Boys, like it's insane that we've had to deal with that and watch our shoulders for that. Like it was really growing up, it was really like my dad teaching me like, not everyone's going to accept you for who you are, and some people are going to have a problem with who you are and what you are, and you just got to understand that like there's nothing wrong with that, and just know that like you didn't do anything, like you're just existing, like you're allowed to be here just like they're allowed to be here. So it was a really like unique dynamic growing up, because it would like there would always be like some takeaway from something. Like my dad would always see something that I would miss, or like there would always be like that little thing that he'd point out and I'd miss, and I'd just be so completely oblivious.
Hmm. Of course, it's natural, especially as a child. We're just out here loving life, like still
Right.
even just grasping the concept. Do you remember like how old you were when these conversations started to become a little bit more, I guess, common or um, memorable?
Probably like I would say like around the age of like 10, 12 ish.
Hmm.
Like when you're starting to like go out and you're like just like like you'd be out without parental supervision. Like your parents, like my dad would tell me like, be on the lookout for this. Just make sure you stay away from this place. And it'd be like why stay away from this place? Like why stay away from over there? Like why stay away? And then you grow up and then it's like you see some like racial epithet like tagged over there, or you see some like crazy hate crime happen like down like in the other part of the county, and it's like, oh well, like that's the problem, like that's why, like he was saying like that's not okay. And it's crazy because I remember back in the day, like when I was young, like 12ish, like he would be like, hey, watch this, and then things start happening like when Trump gets elected, like things
Mm.
start happening when people like like over the course of time of all of these like movements rising up, it's just been surreal to watch and like come to life, because it was like back in the day, like we really wouldn't, like everything was very closeted and people were very like less open about their discrimination and racism, and now they're just out here like blatant and proud about it.
Oh my God, yeah. I feel like it's almost like the past 4 years have been like uh, a period of empowerment for a lot of those people, man. It's really crazy. It's I know I didn't expect it. Of course, at the time, I remember when Trump got elected, I didn't really care that much about politics at all, not one bit. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. When he got elected, even I was just like, I don't think I really anticipated all that could be possible. I don't even think I realized how much a president really could do until those executive orders just started. Pa, pa, pa. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, I'm kind of curious. You're decided to study law, but did you was that like always the intent? Like, did you go into undergrad thinking like, yeah, I want to be a lawyer?
Yeah, I did. Like like I got in a little bit of trouble when I was a kid, and like it got trumped up charges, and I was like, this is really messed up. Like I hope nobody else has to go through this. And like then I was just like, like I'd rather be a lawyer and help people out, and they not have to go through like really messed up charges or just like some screwed up stuff. Like because it happened to me, it could happen to anybody, and it's like I really didn't like the fact that like I had to sit there and suffer. My attorney was like, well, just like kind of suck it up, like it'll be all right. So like
Mm,
that was just like, man, like kind of needs not to be like that. And I'd like to see someone like me like be a lawyer. Like I didn't really see a lot of like me in the courtroom. I'm pretty sure like the only me I saw was like a bailiff. So
mm,
yeah, so it's like I'd like to see someone like me representing me, because then I'd feel like actually cared for. I didn't really feel like I was being like cared for or represented, because like it's like, like I don't look like your kid. You don't really feel any sympathy for me, or you don't really feel any empathy for me. You're just kind of telling me to suck it up. Like let me get my work day over. Like it shouldn't be like that. So yeah, I went like into undergrad really thinking like, I want to go to law school. Like I want to be a lawyer and help like people like me, children like who get in trouble, like who got in trouble or who just like made one bad decision, like that should
hmm.
like, really affect them for the rest of their life.
Man, um, you mind sharing like what happened?
Yeah, like I I got a fight with some people, and basically me and this one guy, like it just spurred into like a one on one. And then he dropped his keys. I picked up his keys and threw them. And so that constituted as robbery because I took the keys from them.
For real?
And so yeah, so they charged me with robbery, and then they locked me up on my birthday, which is November 6th. Uh, and so they didn't let me out till 26, I believe, or
So you were
20
in there for
a
20
day
days,
a
basically.
day before Thanksgiving. I think is it
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
usually it's like right after.
Right, yeah, it's
My
right around.
birthday's on the 21st. I've always had to like it's either right before or a week before, one of the two.
Yeah, so
Man,
right there, and I was just like, man, this sucks. Like, it just didn't make sense because like they got their stuff back and they were able to drive home. It's like, all right, like okay, get me in trouble for the fighting. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, he fought too. Like, get us both in
right.
trouble for that. But like, robbery, locking me up, coming to my house, like, like it. Yeah, man. Like, those are,
So it wasn't like a they went and picked you up from your house to
yeah.
arrest you.
So like, I threw the keys in a field. Like, everybody went to the field and got the keys, and we all drove away and went our separate ways. So everybody went home with their own stuff,
Hmm.
and like they went to the police. So
Wow.
yeah,
Out of curiosity, were they white?
they were white.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yo, that's wild. That's wild. So your attorney was just like, "Hey, you just gonna be in jail for a minute?" Like, what?
He was just like, I was crying. He was just kind of like, bro, like, suck it up. Like, you got in a fight, you did this shit. Like, you just gotta eat it. And I was like, there's nothing you can do. Like, like I didn't rob him. He got his stuff back. Like all this stuff. And he was well, like you guys both admitted that like you picked up the key when he dropped it. And I was like, dude, like he got everything back. Like, it's literally like,
It's not
you
like you
know,
threw it in a lake or
it's not
just
like,
like,
yeah, I destroyed
yeah.
it, and it's like people like there are like white kids that do worse, and like like all this stuff that do worse, and they've killed people. Like there's actually a team that's like killed like 8 people, got probation,
Mm.
and like didn't spend a day in jail, like got out of jail, and it's like you're gonna like I was like, dude, this is wild. Like I had no weapons, nothing. You're gonna charge me with robbery, and like and then so the first time they tried to get me out of jail, like they were like no bail. So like I couldn't leave. Like that was like the crazy thing. So in the morning they were like, no, like you're a danger to the community. And it's like, yeah, it's like how am I a danger to the community? Like we got in a fight, like a regular fight, like people fight, and then like I threw keys and I was just like, what the fuck is this? So
Yeah.
that's really why I was like, like I need to go to school. I want to be a lawyer because I don't want anyone to suffer the same not the same fate, but like the same hand I was dealt.
Right. That's someone with a bit more care in it. Man, how did your parents react? Like, I can't imagine. Like,
My
well,
parents were not happy.
yeah, were they home when you got arrested?
Yeah, yeah, were my parents home? Yeah, yeah, both of them were home actually.
Oh
So it was like, and okay, so it happened like they knocked, I came to the door, and like guns drawn, and I was like, all right, all right, all right, all right. And so then they like arrested me, and my parents were like, what the hell like happened? Because like my parents woke up and like I just wasn't there. And then like I'm a minor, so they called my parents and told them what happened. So then like my parents were like what do we do? Like what can we do? And then I'm pretty sure like my mom like called a lawyer and like called somebody. And then like in the morning they tried to get me like out, and then they were like, no, like you're not allowed to get him out. Like da da
man.
da. And yeah,
That's crazy. It's like shocking but not surprising
yeah.
type of thing. Man. So, how old were you when this happened again?
I was okay. So it happened on my 17th birthday. So I was 16. It was
Man,
on November 5th. And then yeah, I was turning 17. So they came like at like it's like 1 in the morning, I believe, or like at like 12:30. So like just turned 17. I was like, all right, well,
mm, danger to the community.
yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. Okay, so 17. What were you a trying to remember. It's been a while since I've been in high school. Were you in junior or senior
I was a
at the time?
senior.
You're a
Yeah.
senior. How did that affect the school?
So they had a school inside and they transferred like all of my stuff to that school. But then when I got out, like thank God I had a car because when I got out, I had to drive like 20 miles. I think it was like 19 miles every day to go to school, like to an alternative school.
Oh yeah.
So like I had to go to an alternative school because like my school wouldn't let me back because like I got out and then I went back to school after break, like right before Christmas break, and they were like, "Nah, you can't be here."
Mm,
I was like, "Oh, all right, well," but it's like if you don't go to school, you get locked up for a probation violation. So,
mm-hmm.
where am I supposed to go? Like I got to go to school. Like I got to be. So then they were like, oh, you have to go here. You have to go to this like program. Da da da. It was called like New Directions. Um, and so I went there, but like it's like you go there, you go to an alternative school, and it's like everybody in the county. Like if you mess up, you go there. But you're
Right.
wherever you live, like wherever your zip code or whatever, you get your home degree. So like my home degree doesn't say like New Directions. It says like my regular high school that like I went
Mm-hmm.
to. Um, so I guess that's like one good thing. So it didn't really like mess up like school, but yeah, like it was such like a weird predicament and
Right.
thing.
Man, that's crazy. Well, at least so you got to graduate on time.
Yeah.
Got you. So graduate on time. You're like, nah, this legal stuff. This ain't it. We need more people to actually protect people like me. So, going to college. What college did you go to?
So I started at Northern Virginia Community College and then I went to George Mason.
George Mason. Okay, got you. Northern Virginia Community College. I think I know someone who went there. They had a. Do they have a soccer team there?
I think so. Yeah.
I
They
think
have a
I
lot
know
of
someone who
like
played.
intramural sports.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I know someone who did like 2 years there. Then they got to transfer to the school
Yeah,
after the.
that's the same thing. It's a great program. Like they make it so affordable. You take classes and like I think a full like course load, like I think it was like 18 credits or something like that, was like 10 grand, 8 grand. Like
Oh.
it's really cheap. And then you get to go to a, like any Virginia school as long as you keep your GPA to the
Mm-hmm.
certain like standard. And I think the GPA standard is only like a 2.5.
Oh
Like
wow.
it's a really like reasonable program and it makes it really accessible for people to like go to school. And I think they're like now I don't know and don't quote me on this. I think they're trying to make it like even more accessible, like getting rid of tuition for like some introductory classes.
Oh
So
nice.
yeah, I really like them and they really helped like help me with my academic dreams and like going forward because like they were like, all right, you can go here, like it's perfect. Like and they sent me to Mason. Like it was just a streamlined process to go to Mason.
Wow. That's
Like
pretty good. At George Mason, that's like a pretty good school. So
yeah,
like who knows like cuz I know growing up College of Charleston was the biggest school. They like in my direct area. Of course, there was South Carolina there too. But to get into College of Charleston, you had to have a pretty good GPA. But there was this other technical college you could go to, get your grades up a little bit, but it's a lot easier to transfer
yeah.
into college and get accepted. So that's pretty cool. They had that program there. And so, George Mason. So you're at the school in Nova for 2 years, then you transfer to George Mason and continue study law. What was your experience at that school?
So like my experience at Mason was like it just like I just went to school. Like it was a ghost town.
Mm,
It's a real commuter school. So like my major was sociology and like I'd know everybody in like the sociology program kind of like passing by like hey, what's up? But like if I saw them now, I wouldn't be able to tell anybody like their face
right.
or anything. But it was a really nice school. Like no problem. Like everyone was super friendly. Just really commuter. Like everyone was high and by. Lots of construction going on because they were revamping stuff. But it was a
Mm,
really nice school. Like it didn't hinder any access to education. When you had problems, like they were very upfront about like, hey, like this is what we can do. Hey, this is what we can do. I actually got in a motorcycle accident my senior year. of college, and I
Mm.
couldn't go to class for the whole year, and all of my teachers were so understanding. Like the school was so understanding. Like they
Oh,
let me
that's
do my
nice.
whole like I kept all of my grades up, but they let me do everything online and like just do extra work and just do a lot of like just like workarounds and like each of my teachers were so supportive and just like hey like yeah we got you and like I
Man.
graduated on time like it was a really it
Oh,
was a
that's
really
what's up. That's what's up. Man, see, that's why like I like motorcycles, but I don't think I actually end up like having one just because like ah man, it's just that thought of me just like sliding across the ground. Like how bad was that accident? You say you were
yeah.
out for a year.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I got hit, so like I don't really feel like I'd be like, yo, I'd be like, yo, I'm done. Like I'm done if I like ran in the back of somebody. But I was out for a year. I had like four broken bones, like four
Mm.
surgeries. Um, so like it was for a while, and then I did rehab. But like I still ride. Like I won't lie, but I ride like huge dirt bikes. Like they're called enduros. So most of the time I'm in mud, like in the dirt.
Oh, got you. Yeah,
Yeah,
see, I do that because that seems fun. Like the whole four wheeling motorcycle stuff. That
right.
looks pretty fun.
But like the
Wh-
only time like we're on the street, like when I'm on the street is like going home from a trail or something. Like you're going home, like,
Gotcha.
yeah, like being out in like the woods or something. So like I literally was like 10 minutes from home and someone hit me and I was like, damn, like this is this sucks. Like I
Oh man, you were like almost there, just like get ready to kick off the shoes and everything, and then
literally like yo, like I was like, oh man, it's been a long day, hot. Like I just want to go home,
right.
shower, eat. Like it was fun. Like and yeah, but that was it was an experience, and I was like, like I'm thankful for it, and now like really like if I really ride, like I'm super cautious about like where I'm riding, like not really like on like side streets, more main roads and like all of that.
Hmm.
But like I still go out like every once in a blue moon when like we have time, like we haven't had time and forever, so.
Right. Back to kind of your educational journey. What so you graduated on time from George Mason. What year did you graduate?
2018.
2018? 2018. Okay. How did it feel to actually graduate? It seems like there are a lot of forces to kind of prevent you from kind of making it to that walking to get your diploma and everything. So when they called out your name, you went up got your thing, like how did it feel?
Oh, it was a great feeling. Like it was one of the best feelings in the world. Like it was like, wow, I'm on my way. Like I did this. Like I can do anything. Like I was really proud of myself. It was a really great feeling. Like to be able to be like, I did this. Like, thank you to everybody who helped me out. Like it's just like like it's such an accomplishment, not just for me, but like for my family and like the people that supported me. So it was a
Hmm.
really good feeling.
Man, that's what's up. So as when I graduated, it was kind of interesting because I was like, man, what do I do now, type of thing. But I think for since you were studying law, um, you were like, all right, cool, now time to go straight into a law program. Is that right?
Yeah, like I was like, all right, time to like really study for the LSAT. I studied for the LSAT, and then I went into a program the next year.
Okay, is that pretty quick? I don't really know what that time frame's like, but how long does it usually take to get into a program?
Some people wait. Some people like they'll test for a bit. Um, I would say like normal time is probably like yeah, it's probably like normal time. I would say
Hmm.
quick is like, you go like right after you graduate because you're like you already accepted, you did it while you were in your senior year, like you're gone. Like I waited, gave myself like I think I worked on a school board campaign and did a little bit of other work as well, like just freelance like mechanic work, just working on boats and stuff like in the
Oh,
summer.
nice. That's
Um,
pretty cool.
and then I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like, let's go to school. Like, let's go back to school. And yeah, I like moved up to Boston, and that was like a whole different like ball game, a different area. And I was like, damn, like,
Yeah. What was that like in Boston?
yeah,
I've only visited and I was like in middle school at the time. Like, yeah. So what was that like being an adult in Boston?
I felt like a fish out of water. Like, yeah, it was insane because like, you're going around, you're going places, and like, you don't look like anybody. Like, there's some people that look like you, but it's not in my area, in like the downtown area, and like where I was in school. Honestly don't know what they call it because I didn't spend any too much time getting to know like what they call places. but it was like right where all the main schools were, and it was just like so crazy to see all the universities and see all of the students, and like there weren't that many black people. Like it
Hmm.
was just like, where are all the black people? Like, why do I feel like such a fish out of water? And everybody's like, no, no, like there are definitely like black people, and it was like white people telling me that, and I was just like, where, like,
Like, no, we have them here. There's somewhere.
yeah, like there's like two.
Right. Exactly. I'm not surprised what you said at all. Like when I was there, I was like too young to really, I think, notice too much or leave a lasting impression. But what what I've heard is like Boston is like the racism there is like a whole different type of feel. So while you were there, did you experience anything like whether in the classrooms, you're just walking around daily life of Justin? Did you experience any type of racism there?
Like at my school, so there's somebody who started is like part of like a far right group, like at my law school, and like did a straight pride parade. And like, I mean, like, I'm straight, but like, I have no problem with like anyone else's identity. And I find it so
Hmm.
wrong to do a straight pride parade and like literally try and discriminate
Yeah.
against like a whole group of people and then sit there and like act like you can be an ethical lawyer and then get upset. Like, he got upset with me because I was standing with a group of friends and I was like, hey, is that Nazi? And like, got really upset. And I was just like, dude, like, I mean, is what it is. And then like he told the school on me, and I was just like, I mean, like it's a white supremacist at our school. Like, what do you expect?
Wait, he told the school on you for calling him
Yeah,
a
like
Nazi?
and like I like the school was just like, don't call people Nazis, and I was just like, all right, like I won't call them a Nazi. Like, I mean, like I can call him a white supremacist if that makes you feel better, but like he like sits there and like has a platform that preaches hate. Like I don't know what you want me to call him, and like my school is just like be respectful, be kind, like da da da, and it's like you're telling me that, like why aren't you telling him that?
What's up, everyone? I want to take a few moments to invite you all to Buy Black Friday. It's the first of many live events we're putting together to encourage everyone to buy black. Basically, the last Friday of every month, we're hosting a live show highlighting black owned businesses and digging deeper into what it means to buy black. Our first event is Friday, January 29th, and we're going to keep it going every month. Visit the episode show notes to learn more and stay tuned as we introduce this new movement to consistently buy black. Of course, last year I think just kind of shook the world up a bit with George Floyd being killed. And I think you were saying in the message before is like around May. That's when you really started protesting for the first time. Is that right?
Yeah, it
May
was like
last year.
it was around that time.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I think that's interesting. I think that murder kind of hit everyone differently. I know it kind of took me a second just to really like fully process everything, especially because of everything else that happened before then. It was like a real kind of build up to a tipping point. I'm kind of curious, like how did that hit you?
It was really like, I was sitting around and I was like, what can I do? Like, how can I, really like get out there and like fight and like do what I need to do? And then it just like, Trump's photo op happened and we had to like lead people away from the photo op and lead people away from all that gas. And that's like when we started marching and really like when we got active, like the first week of June, like we started our first like official protest that Saturday and it just took off from there. Like we just launched marches from Malcolm X Park every Saturday, uh,
Mm,
and we just like shut down the city. Like we would just go to different bridges, like the Key Bridge in Georgetown. Um, we'd go to different highways, shut them down, like just different things, just marching.
nice. Now so you went out there and you actually from the get go were you like organizing things? Were you first just kind of participating in
So
the
when I
protest?
first got out there, I was just skating. Like I had my longboard and it was just like, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to help. Like I was just skating and then, I saw like people need help. People, needed someone to help out. And I just like kind of I felt like I like stepped up and filled a position that needed to be there. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, like I didn't start like really, I didn't come out with the intent to be like, hey, I'm organizing. Hey, like we're doing this. Like it just kind of naturally happened and flowed.
Nice. That's a beautiful way to start something, just like a true calling, just coming into it. Now you started this. How many people um, actually started DC protests with you?
So it was about four of us that started it.
Hmm. Okay. And
Yeah.
like, why actually start instead of just continuing to go out there and do it? Like, of course, you're gonna realize, you need to step into this role, but you actually started an organization and put a name to it. Like, what made you guys decide to do that?
Um, I think like we saw these other groups, we saw what like Black Lives Matter DC was doing, and we just felt like we could fulfill a niche and fulfill like a spot where like people could come out and express themselves in a different area in a different environment where we could continue to fight for Black liberation when while simultaneously keeping like the whole community safe. That first day we did,
Hmm.
we didn't really see like any other groups really at that time doing Saturday day marches, and we didn't see anybody like going out there and being like, yo, like let's shut the city down on Saturday and like disrupt these white people's like brunches and all of this. So that just really became our mission. It was like, let's fuck up these white people's Saturdays like they fucked up like our ancestors and they've had us fucked up for generations. Um,
Hmm.
and that really just became our motto and just like becoming like a real grassroots organization, just like getting the community involved and then like forming this partnership with they're called FTP Mutual Aid and they them collective on helping them with mutual aid. It really just became like a fully full circle thing. Like we do our thing, we march, we come to mutual aid, help out, do our mutual aid, bring our things to mutual aid, and then we have a night march with they them. So it just really was like a full organic thing, and it was really like it was really cool to see it just like kind of flourish and now continue to take effect and be there.
Yeah, I feel that. I kind of laughed as I said, "Fuck up their brunches." I thought that I love the way you worded that, and I think it's kind of interesting with the protests. I'm here in Atlanta, and I know I definitely got calls like, "You're out there burning down buildings." Like, yo,
Yeah.
chill for a second. I'm not burning down a building. I've actually been at home, but what? So I get what you mean when you say "fuck up their brunches," but why? What does that mean to you?
Really, I would just say like all these white people can go out and like not just white people, but just people that don't care about the movement can go out and go to brunch and just ignore like that these things are happening. People are being brutalized in the streets for being shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, like coming out with respirators and gas masks. Like it's just like it's really messed up that we have to protest that way and we have to protect ourselves that way. And it's like really like we're coming to raise awareness and raise attention. And like you're having brunch, you're having a picnic, but like you could be out here protesting with us. You could be out here in the streets fighting for justice with us. But instead, like during the global pandemic, you're like dining like out like socially for no reason. Like when you could be home, when like but it just to us like I guess really what it means is we don't we want to bring the attention to where they'll see it most, and they're not going to see us if we're just parading around downtown just like chanting and doing our thing. So we bring it to them, we bring it to the white neighborhoods, we bring it like where they're dining and where they're sitting so they can pay attention. And it's like, all right, you want to go to brunch, we'll bring the protest to you, like we don't mind.
Hmm. How are those interactions I think like we saw a lot on social media, a lot of things that were taken down as well, but like I'll never forget just like this one video, the cops kind of marched through a neighborhood and people were in their homes on their porch and they were yelled at to get inside and they just started shooting the rubber bullets and beanbags and stuff. So like you coming into their neighborhoods, I can only imagine just like how they reacted to it. But how
I
did
would
they
say
respond, I guess?
it depends, right? So if it sits there and we're doing like we do fact checks, like mic checks and stuff, and we'll read information about victims of police brutality or like wages of the cops or just like violations that the cops have done or just like like if they beat their wives, just like calling them out, like just all
Hmm.
types of just unique things. And then like if it gets too heated and the cops don't like it, they'll come and back us up, or we'll like push the march onward. So like they don't mess with us. But usually like they'll listen. Like people will listen to us. People, some people will tell us, like fuck off, like stop like ruining our Saturday, like type shit. But then it's just like the crowd gets angry and they go at it, and it's just like a whole it's a tense situation usually. But usually like the restaurant, they hear like the brutality, they hear like the injustice, and they're like, yo, like we need to pay attention, and then they'll stop eating, they'll pay attention, they'll put their fist up, they'll join us in solidarity for a moment of silence type um, thing if we do it. Um, it it really is something to see because it's hard to put in words like what happens because every time it's so different. Every like you never know when a
Mm.
restaurant's gonna be like, hey, get away. You never know when the cops are gonna rush in to try and save something. You never know if like they're gonna bring out water for us. So it's always a different experience.
Oh, that's happened though. Like the
Yeah.
people or cops or someone's brought water out to you guys.
Not the cops, but people have
Mm,
like the restaurants. Like Aloho,
gotcha.
there's bars in Admo that have brought out water and brought out like let us use their bathrooms and stuff.
Hmm. In those moments, was did that come as a surprise to you?
I think the first time I saw it, because I didn't know what those restaurants were, like they're real big allies and they've always been helping out the community. So when I saw that, like that was amazing to me. I was like, wow, like these people really care. Like this is during their
Hmm.
business hours. Like they're out here and like they're standing with us, and that's an amazing thing to see. And then when you learn the fact that like they've been doing this and they've been in the community helping out for so long, it just makes it so much better because you're like, wow, these people really care, and like they're really opening their hearts and like to help us. And it's like there have been countless times where I've been chased by the police, and like one of these bars have been like, hey yo, come here, and like I've just like gone and like hid inside, or like
Hmm.
I've just been like I'll walk through the bar and like I'll go home, like I'll walk through and I'll go out and I'll skate through the back, or like I'll order a drink and I'll just go to the bar and then go
Right.
home. Like, I'll order a water and then, just get it to go and
Oh, that's
then
crazy.
just go the
That's
other way.
crazy. All
They're
this
they're
while
good people.
protesting. Man, that's interesting. So I know. Okay, so you guys started this up in June, kept it going every Saturday, and I think you mentioned that you actually ended up getting arrested. So at one time, was that in August?
Yeah, when I got arrested was in August. So 41 people got arrested in August during a protest.
41.
Yeah, and they arrested us all on different things, and mine was for crossing a police line. So it was a real interesting,
Mm,
yeah, real interesting way of charging people. It was such a bullshit arrest.
right. Were they making those type of arrests earlier on? If I feel like last year was really a blur, but I feel like August, the protest one just had even more energy at that time as well. But at the same time, it seemed as though there's a lot more abuse that was kind of shown by cops or arrests that were just kind of very questionable. Um, so you said 41 people got arrested. Had you seen that many people get arrested beforehand when you guys were out demonstrating?
We've had a lot of we've seen a lot of like mass arrests, you could call them, like maybe over like 15 or more. But
Hmm.
I would say like the Admo 41 was like a huge number of people,
Right.
and
Okay.
people from that group, actually, like some people still don't even have their property back. Like that was, yeah, August, like you
Man.
said, with all that energy and everything going around, the cops just amped it up. Like the cops are like, you know what, we're gonna do this and like make it sure, like, it's harder for you guys to be out here. So
Hmm. So when you got arrested in August, how long were you like? How long did they have you?
they only arrested us for the night, but I got
Okay.
arrested at 1 in the morning, 12 in the morning, and then I messed it like, yeah, midnight, 1, and then like till 5 p.m. the next day.
Okay. Okay. I mean, definitely, definitely not how you necessarily want to spend the day, but
Yeah.
gotcha. So, when you guys go out to protest, I think you realize you might get arrested, but when it actually comes time when they like put the cuffs or zip ties or whatever on you, like how does it feel at that moment? Are you just like, "Yo, what's happening?" or like what's going
Oh,
on?
no, it's definitely, like, one of those "oh fuck" moments, like,
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, fuck," like, I'm arrested, like, I hope, like, so and so knows or, like, hope, like, somebody tells my mom or tells whoever needs to know, like, because like, it's like, these people worry and, like, you don't want them to worry because nothing really, like, they're just, like, processing you. You just wanna make sure it's just, like, really, like, you wanna make sure people know what's going on and what happened, so it's like, they can report the arrest and, like, know, like, it's unlawful and know that, like, you didn't do anything. Because usually the time, like when they arrest us, like they'll target us. So they'll try and target people at kettles, and they'll try and target like people to arrest, like leaders. Um, or just different organizers. Like they'll be like, "Hey, grab that one," and like we've seen it happen countless times. Like
Mm,
certain lieutenants will be like, "Hey, come here, I want to talk to you," and the person goes over there and talks to them and gets snatched up. Like one of my friends, she was like, "No, I'm not going over to you," and then another organizer that a lot of us know went over to him after like because he like tried to do it to him because I don't think he saw, and he was like, "Hey, come here." And then all he did was he went over there, or yeah, they went over there and they were talking like him and the lieutenant, like the lieutenant was talking, and he just like bear hugged him, and it was crazy. Like they didn't know what to do, and they just got arrested, like all for like talking. Like the lieutenant was like, "Hey, come here," and it's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you doing that?" So it
mm,
definitely is like a really like, it's like, we know when, like, we're about to get arrested. We know, like, we can see when they're about to arrest people. We know, like, the tactics, the different cars they use. So we really watch for it and try to, like, make sure it doesn't happen. But, like, if it does and, like, you're in that situation, it's definitely, like, an "aw, fuck" moment. And you usually try and, like, get your phone off you or, like, just give somebody your personal property. Like, I usually try and give somebody my truck keys or, like, my phone.
hmm.
Like, they don't have it and,
Just
like,
in case.
yeah, so I don't get towed or anything. Like, yeah.
Mm, okay. All right. So you weren't locked up for too long. But August, that's about time when school starts back up, right?
Yeah.
So, did that arrest affect your school like right away, or did you were able to just go back into it as usual?
No, like you just have to report it. So I reported it. Um, and
Oh, you have to
yeah,
report it to your program.
yeah, you just have to like say like, hey, this is what happened. Um, and there's not really a formal process of reporting. So I was just like,
Hmm,
hey, this is what happened. Got unlawfully arrested, all charges dropped, it's all good.
hmm.
And
Is
my
that because it's like a law program that you have to?
yeah.
Gotcha.
And so they were just like, okay, thanks for letting us know. Like, are you okay? Like, there you go. Like, it was all good. Like, nothing really came about of it at that time.
Gotcha. Okay, so able to start school back up. Were you still going out and organizing and kind of protesting when you guys could, or is it like
Yeah.
full time back in the school?
So, like, it was both. Like, I was just full time, like, we were full time organizing, full time in school. So it was really like, like, it just like time management was a very crucial role that had to play when I got like back into school. And while I was full time school, we had our weekly marches and our weekly mutual aid. If anything happened in the middle of the like week or anything happened in the middle of school, I would usually try and get school done first, take care of all my school stuff, show up late, still be there when if anybody needed me, still be around. So it was a big time management thing that I had to work on. But
Hmm.
one, I think after like the first month and a half, I was good.
Gotcha. Were you were the your other co-founders were they in school as well?
I believe one is in school and the other work full time.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys all had things that you guys were doing on the regular, but okay, gotcha. But I think it's good to have multiple co-founders. You guys can kind of take turns. Like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go out. Y'all meet when I can, type of thing. That's pretty cool. Very cool. What so I understand time management is important, and but it seemed like you had to balance a lot. How did that affect your grades?
So this semester, like, I actually got the best GPA I've ever had. I mean,
Oh, work.
I like I've only had my first semester, and I didn't do so hot because adjustment to law school. Second semester, I honestly think second semester, if it wasn't pass fail, would have been my best semester. Two of my teachers emailed me saying like I got really high marks on my exams and like I got really high grades, so I can use
Mm-hmm.
like recommendations for jobs and stuff. And they'll say that. But I got a 2.48, a 2.5 this semester. I got two B's and the rest were C pluses and a C. So I did pretty fine. Pretty average for law school. Uh, I didn't really like I did really well where I needed to do well, and then the other, it was
Mm-hmm.
just like I don't really get a breakdown of my grades, so it's like it's just like you gotta kind of just
Oh, you
keep
just
in.
get this one final grade
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
Oh man.
The one final, it's just like you get one test, and it's just like, all right, like that's your test. So, um, for the most part, like in my peer group, like I got the highest grades in like at least two classes. So I wasn't like really bugging out because it's like COVID and everybody's doing like which and which grade, and it's really hard, I guess, that our teachers are grading for us that they say. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
really interesting dynamic and really weird to see how we're getting graded because like we have participation grades and it's like how you getting graded on participation when we're virtual. So
Right.
it's interesting. It was a really weird semester, but I don't think it affected my grades. I actually think like if anything, it really gave me the discipline to sit there and be like, I really want to do
Mm,
this. Like, I really need to streamline and prioritize and just like make like really manage my time for what I need and what I want.
gotcha. Okay. So you actually were able to find that balance and really kind of guess find I guess some purpose as well. To
Yeah.
one, this is why I'm in school. So I guess like it probably just even put even more fire just to achieve the most. Gotcha. So that's impressive to be honest, because I think this year like if you know what's interesting with school, school is not necessarily easy. Like it is a challenge, but this year has been a lot just from COVID to the protests to the elections, man. Like this was crazy. Like
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that could easily take you away from performing at your best, from virtual learning, just all these different factors. So I definitely want to congratulate you for being able to achieve those grades and everything. I'd like to take a moment to invite you all to join me in the BossLocks Village. It's a way for you to directly support me and the show as we continue to reach new growth. And when I say support the show, I really mean it. Like when you join for as little as $2 a month, you're helping us with initiatives like an internship program we're putting together and creating more community events for listeners of the podcast. So if you're not driving, go ahead and take a second to click the link in the description and sign up for as little as $2 a month to be a part of the BossLocks Village. Let's grow together. I guess your first introduction to protesting was a huge one, and there feel a lot of interesting interactions. Now, it's something I call National White Privilege Day, which was a couple of weeks ago when they decided to storm the Capitol. And at first, a lot of them were calling it a protest. I'm kind of curious, what would you call it?
It definitely to me looked like a domestic terrorist attack because they stormed a federal building, um, stole classified documents, you know, and attacked a bunch of people.
Hmm.
So to me, it looked like a terrorist attack. But to to government officials and Republicans and all of these random people and reporters, it was a group of protesters going awry. And when you sit there and compare them to us calling them protesters, it's like we don't sit there and kill people, storm the Capitol, and like say we're gonna take hostages and bring like loaded firearms to the Capitol and get in shootouts. Like that's not what we're do. Like that's not what we do. We come out for Black liberation and we fact check people and we fact check diners who they're dining and we interrupt. Like we bring the information to them and we make them listen whether they want to or not. And so the difference between it being like they performed a literal attack on the nation and on the nation as a whole because they were upset because they felt like we didn't have a fair election. When if you reverse it, like 4 years ago, they were sitting there saying like, "Oh, don't cry about it. Like there was no cheating. Like da da da. Like the election. Like you can't cheat the election. All of this." So now it's just
Hmm.
like very hypocritical, and it's just a weird, very weird, surreal like terrorist attack of like all these psychos that just didn't get their way, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's I think exactly that. I think for everyone who's like still grasping with the idea of just white privilege is, I think it's that itself. You could um, do something that is technically terrorism or treason or whatever, but be called a protester, just exercising your freedom of speech. And of course, we do see, like, I think, to be honest, it's like hilarious, but like all the people who found out real time that they're now on a no fly list, getting dragged to the airport and stuff. So, I mean, a little has been done. And we do see, I think they're starting to arrest more and more people, but it's like a after the fact thing. Whereas while you were out there protesting for just saving people's lives, you getting arrested by kind of any means necessary on their end. Um, now, what's interesting about your story is that it seems like you were actually affected by these this Capitol storming. So can you share a little bit about what happened that day?
Yeah. So the I guess it would be the day after. I'm just chilling, you know. White supremacists just stormed the Capitol, and I'm like, oh man, like this is insane. Trying to say it's Antifa. They're trying to say it's all these people. I get a text from a friend at school in the Student Body Association. They're like, "Hey, Channel Seven saying that you stormed the Capitol and that you were arrested," and I was like, "What? Like, no, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't at the Capitol at all. I was chilling yesterday, just watching the news, watching everything happen on a camera, like on the live feeds, like all like everybody at home who was normal was." And this national news outlet tweeted and put out a story saying that I was arrested and I was charged with my charges that in August at the Capitol. It was sent around at my law school. My law school found out and they contacted me asking me if I was at the Capitol and like I need to report these charges, saying all of this stuff. Um, and the news outlet, and they did not issue a correct correction until I called them. I had to get a bunch of my friends tweet at it, and then they took the tweet down finally. And then the station manager or station editor, I forgot what she was, she called me and she was like, "Hey, like, just I don't know what's going on, like, da 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 da." And she just like was oblivious and acted like nothing happened. And then they issued a correction, but the correction still kind of states that I was there. It just says like we incorrectly reported that this man was arrested, and so it still kind of puts me at the Capitol, and my school's like, what the hell, like, this correction doesn't give us anything. So by all of them storming the white, like all these white supremacists storming the Capitol and doing all this crazy stuff, like normal people have been affected because people on the protesting list that were arrested and let go have now been like I guess put together in this whole giant list that journalists have from MPD of people who were arrested. And so now it's like, I don't know if the journalists do or do not get a date. I have no idea, but I have no idea how I got lumped into an arrest that was in January. So it's just insane, and it's kind of just like taking a hold of my life. Like people are like, "What's going on? Like, were you at the Capitol?" And it's just been like a whirlwind of things.
Hmm. So basically, this. So you say like everyone was arrested the past year or whatever for some type of protests.
Yeah,
It's basically all in this database.
yeah.
Everyone is arrested, even if the charges are dropped. The fact you're arrested is still on this list, and your name's there and everything. And I guess journalists have access to that list, or I guess it's public information.
So it's like a public information database, and I think like me and you could look it up right now. And Hmm. I think I'm pretty sure you can inquire about it, but like, we look it up for jail support. Something that
Hmm.
we do when like, somebody gets arrested, we go out there and support them. Um, and it was just like, like all these people, like just like average me and you, like, you're from South Carolina. I think there was like a person from like Rhode Island who got the same treatment like I'm going through. Like we put the story out, and somebody DM'd like, our protest page and was like, my boyfriend's going through the same thing. Like they reported him, like, and like they're from like Texas or somewhere. Like so
Mm.
it's like crazy. And like they're like these people were here for like, March on Washington and like Juneteenth. Like they were here in the summer and they got arrested, and now they're getting reported in the new year of being arrested, and it's just affecting, like, it's really affecting people's lives that they're doing this. And it's like, I don't know if the journalists don't get the dates or not, but when if me and you were to go look it up right now, we'd see the dates. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I don't know if they're getting like an edited list or like, but it's just like I do know, like, they have to fact check it. So it's just it's crazy to me.
Man, so you weren't even there that day.
Nope. Yeah, like I was chilling, me and my dog just watching like all the random like little streams. I got on Twitch on my Xbox and I like watched like all the crazy streams from like right up close, all those crazy people. Like a bunch of my
Hmm.
friends were watching, they sent me a couple links and I was just like, this is insane. Like
That is insane, man. That's like protesting while black 101. Like, yeah,
literally,
something from months ago could come right back at you randomly and not even be accurate. That's wild. That's
literally.
wild. So your school found out. How did that? Can you share like what happened post? Like, so the article, they kind of corrected the article. But how did your school handle the situation kind of moving forward?
My school sent me like an email and they were like, hey, like just saw you got arrested. Basically they were like, hey, we saw this report because it's a big outlet in Boston, like it's Channel 7. They're like, hey, we saw this report. It said you got arrested. We need you to report this. We need you to like, tell us like what's going on with the charges and everything.
Mhm.
And like why you were at the Capitol. And I was like, I wasn't at the Capitol, all of this. I wasn't anywhere near it. And then the next day, Friday, I get it was like a 53-second phone call from the registrar, and it was like, you're dismissed, and it was like due to grades. And I was just like, yo, like I was like, we were in talks of like going through everything, working through stuff, like coming to the table, and you guys see this report, and you know, you see these other things like, like I've been arrested, like I was at the Capitol, and then you're just gonna like kick me out of school and not say anything to me or not like, meet with me. It was just like it was a really interesting situation because like they kind of just were like, okay, like let's throw our policy out the window and just kind of get this person out of school.
That is crazy. So being dismissed, how do you feel? Because this is like real time type of stuff. Like, how is this affecting you?
I don't know, like I don't know if I processed it yet. Like it's definitely like it's wild. Like I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? Like what's going on? But it's like, I'm still like really hopeful that I'll be able to like, become an attorney and do like everything I need to do. Um, there's an appeals process, and I have four of my professors that are like, this is really unjust. Like you should appeal. But it becomes the point like, if I appeal and they grant my appeal, like it's like, do I want to stay in an environment, that sits there and acts this way towards students that they care to, promote and uplift. What's really ironic about this is, I got that phone call, and then like 5 minutes later, I get an email from the school, like the student announcements, and it's like Black Lives Matter, like MLK Day, and I was just like, yo, like, I mean, like, but do they really though? Like, bro, it's wild that the school can just do this performative stuff and just like be like, hey, like we're just out here saying Black Lives Matter, but we're gonna sweep a young student, a young black student under the rug and just be like, all right, like we don't really care about you, we don't really care about your problems.
Hmm. It's interesting because like Martin Luther King Day just happened, and it's it's kind of interesting. I think when I was younger, I didn't have like any like sort of like distaste about it, but I think more so just like the posts and the tweets and the praise of Dr. King on Dr. King Day, which is good and everything, but it's like it's there for like that 30 seconds it takes to make that post, and as soon as it's over, it's like all right, back to the racist ways and everything.
Right.
Um, and it's interesting because I think this past year it changed a bit. Because of course you do see a lot more people who actually they make the post and they actually act as well, but still, it's like I don't know if everyone really gets it just yet. I released an episode earlier, and I kind of shared like just because you like Dr. King, that doesn't mean anything to me because it's one thing to like someone, but to really like carry that with you into your actions, where you're thinking all the above. That's a lot different and it takes a lot of work as well. So yeah, I feel you. It's like what you just mentioned there. It seems like that's the trend. That's the trend.
Sit there and poke
Um,
somebody and then just be like, hey, like this is our token, but like real day and age, real time, like you'd fail Dr. King too. Like you do the
mm,
same thing you're doing to me to Dr. King. So it's crazy, like all these people, like like I love MLK, like you're saying, like they say all this stuff, but like these people still shot this person, like y'all still killed him at the end of the day. So it's like you can sit here and say like all of these great things, all of these things, but you try and like at the end of the day, don't try and like minimize the harm that was done and who this person is, trying to like make it like, oh hey, like we love MLK Day, we love all of these policies, we love all of this stuff. When I I think that famous, like it's like a famous tweet that his daughter tweets. It was like my father was like the most hated man, like whenever like voted the most hated man, and it's like like y'all didn't really like it's just now and then the day and age and the political climate you're saying this, and like that's why you're saying it. So don't sit there and be performative like you're saying, like you just said, like it's really disgusting, and like it's just like what the fuck, like why sit there and try and do this like dog and pony show when you can just be real and just be silent about it. Like don't say anything if you're gonna like be like, I'd rather you not say anything if you're just gonna be performative about the whole thing at all.
hmm. I feel that 100%. 100%. Um, so so what's kind of next for you? I know you mentioned there's an appeal process and everything, but it seems as though I would say for one, I'm kind of like an optimist, and I think so it affects my thinking. But like as I'm looking at you and hearing you, it's like it seems as though you have a number of options. Of course, being an attorney is the goal, and I love that. I definitely want that for you. But it also seems as though you have like different choices you can make. One, going to another school, getting back into being a campaign manager, or just continue to grow DC protests. So I know this is still fresh and still processing, but what are you when you're looking at your life, your wants, and kind of the options you have in front of you? Like, what is your, I guess, what's your like heart kind of pulling you to?
I'd love to like grow DC protests and like go to UDC, which is like it's I believe it's DC's only public law school,
Hmm.
which is amazing. Um, it to me it would be like such a full circle. We start this group, and now I can go to a law school in DC, and I can put like all of my effort back into like the community that supported me and helped me out so well. So like really my heart's like pulling me to go there. And like even if like, my appeal doesn't go well and everything, like I'd still apply there, like do my application for the fall and just like have to do 3 years over it. And like that wouldn't be the worst thing. Like maybe I'd get a scholarship or something, but like their work on social justice and everything, like they're an awesome school and it's an HBCU. So I'd
Oh,
love
for
to
real?
go there. Yeah. So
What's it called again?
UDC, University of District of Columbia.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I'd love to go there, because like it's like that and Howard, which are the two HBCUs I believe in DC. So
Hmm.
I definitely love to go to UDC.
That'd be kind of like a kind of a cool story, after like if you were to graduate from UDC or Howard, like
Yeah.
just afterwards, I think that would just like that would say a lot, I think. And I know one thing I missed out on is going to HBCU, but I think that I've been thinking about grad school. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna do it or not, but if I did, it would definitely be like Clark or Morehouse or one of these
Yeah.
HBCUs here in Atlanta. Um, yeah, that'd be cool. What's up, everyone? I want to take a few moments to invite you all to Buy Black Friday. It's the first of many live events we're putting together to encourage everyone to buy black. Basically, the last Friday of every month, we're hosting a live show highlighting black owned businesses and digging deeper into what it means to buy black. Our first event is Friday, January 29th, and we're going to keep it going every month. Visit the episode show notes to learn more and stay tuned as we introduce this new movement to consistently buy black. All right. Now, before we go, I definitely want to kind of talk about your natural hair experience. And I know you mentioned that at one point you were kind of asked to, or it was suggested that you should cut your hair. So before we get there, though, growing up, I know we're going to take it all the way back, but you saw your dad's hair, your mom's hair. Um, when you looked at your hair, how did you feel? Like, did you like accept your hair as it was, or like was there um confusion there at all?
I always hated the like I never knew what to do with my hair, and I was just like, yo, like, what am I gonna do with this? Because like when I was young, my parents always cut my hair short, so I was never able to grow it and do anything with it. But I always liked my hair. I always liked that it was curly, wasn't straight. Always a big fan of it. And then I think like when I got older and I got free reign, like I was just like, all right, man, I'm never cutting my hair, never touching it.
Hmm.
Like I'm just growing my hair straight. Like I'll get it trimmed maybe, go to whoever knows how to take care of it, and that's what I'm gonna do. Um, my dad had like a little bit of hair until he like shaved it all off. And it was just like I saw my parents' hair and I was like, wow, like I have a combination. So it was pretty cool. I put two and two together and I was like, wow, like that's my hair. Like I like it.
That's what's up. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you're able to at a young age you're always like, no, I like this. I like this one, continue to grow it. Um so I guess as far as like hair care and maintenance and everything, is it were you do you always feel like you were able to find like the right products and everything?
I had sisters, so like from my dad's side.
Oh, so you were
So
straight.
yeah, yeah, I was taken care of, man. Like I didn't do it. Like they were just like use this, do this, do this. And I was just like, all right, like, and so it
Okay.
was always nice because like my hair was really unique and taken care of. So I was always like, I think that was another like factor that was like, I always like had like, oh, like your hair is like taken care of, like you know what to put in it. Like it was always like helped out from, and it was like a big like shout out to my sisters who like sat there and like took care of it and like really showed me like what to do. And I would say I guess like the reason I really liked my hair and like accept it for being unique was because of them. So like
Mm.
really big thank you to them. And
All right, shout out to them. Black women, they always out here for us. Yeah. All right. So okay, so let's fast forward a bit. So that moment when someone recommended you cut your hair, at what point in your life did that occur?
So it was I was like looking at law firms and I was still working as a campaign manager. Um, my hair like I would always like tie it up so it'd be fully up, wouldn't be like this. Um, this like I don't know who it was. I think it was like a senator, some random guy was just like, "Hey, you should cut your hair. You'd be a lot more professional." And like they're gonna try and make you put it up in the courtroom and all of this. And I was just like, uh, yeah, okay. Like, I've seen a long haired lawyer before. Like, that doesn't bother me. So it was just like a really like I always questioned it. I was like, maybe like I might get another job opportunity or something. But it was always like I never wanted to cut my hair and I would never sacrifice my hair like for a job. I'd be like, I mean, like myself and like who I am is worth more than like
Mm,
what this job is if they're trying to make me change my physical appearance. Like my physical appearance, like and like I have a bunch of tattoos as well. Like it changes nothing about me, my education, my knowledge, how well I can advocate for someone or defend someone's rights. It changes none of that. Me knowing the law, me knowing the rules, how long your hair is does not affect that unless it's like like your hair's so long it's like covering your face and you can't see it and you refuse to put it up and you're blind, like, and you can't read, like that would be the only time
Right.
I'd be like, okay, like yeah, like, but my hair's out of my face, and I really like it, and just because it's like not straight white hair or just like straight hair that like sometimes it curls, it like frizzes sometimes, or like just like is out of place sometimes. Like don't really like think it's unprofessional. I just think everybody has like hair, and just like everybody has different bodies, like hair does different things at different times. So I just think it was like a really weird thing to say, and I was just like, you know what, like fuck, like I don't really care, and I think that dude like lost his election anyway. So like,
Right. Okay. How many tattoos do you have?
oh man, I have too many to count. Like
How
way
many?
now, yeah,
Man. So like how often like when's the last time you got one?
like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, for real? Oh man, so you like really about that? Like, okay, so what usually like what type of tattoos you like try to get?
Like it's just like it's like really a mix of like a lot. Like I have like a tiger, a bear. Like it's like I have a lot of animals, and then like a lot of like traditional Japanese. Like so that's I would say that's my style. It's just like a lot of that.
Hmm.
Um, it's like very American traditional with like a mix. Like I've only gone to like 3 artists, so it's like this one dude.
Oh wow.
Is like really hooked it up and like really like done all this amazing work. He's actually gonna do my stomach. So like I have my stomach coming up in like March.
Oh,
So
for real?
yeah, it'll be.
What are you gonna do?
Do you know the story? It's a story called 47 Ronin. It's about
I
these
know they
samurai.
made a movie
Yeah.
about it, but that's all I know.
So it's about these samurai in Japan, and basically like they're Ronin because their master dies. Fast like the fast version of the story is the master is killed by this dude who is like, yo, kill yourself and you'll be like your family will be spared. If you don't, like I'll kill your family and I'll kill you too and I'll take all of your land. Um, the dude cuts the mayor's face who says all of this and then kills himself. Fast forward, like they're called Ronin because they don't have a master because he killed himself. The Ronin come up with this whole plan to infiltrate the tower where this mayor lives and where he's taken all of this land and kill him. It takes about 5 years to do, and so when they finally get up to like killing the master, he flees and goes to this secret garden, and it's feudal Japan, so there's no electricity, there's no light, and so these five Ronin that are still left through the story go up to each of the gardener that are in the secret garden, and they hold a lantern to their face. And the way they figure out who the dude is a mark on the guy's face because of the
Mm,
master cut, and so they kill him, and then the emperor of Japan comes out and says, "This is like the most honorable thing anybody's ever done, but we're still gonna kill you." And like it's like this like really noble story in Japan of just like these like guys standing up to justice, and it's like one dude is a Ronin, and he's like leaping from this balcony onto the mayor, and the mayor's like grabbing his sword, so it'll be like on my I have a chest tattoo, so it'll be like right under there, like reaching around my like side.
man, that's pretty cool. So what? I'm sure with like all the different tattoos, you always have like a lot of different ideas and everything. But why specifically that tattoo, and why on your stomach?
Um, so like I'd say like that tattoo specifically is because my artist actually drew it up a long time ago and wanted to do it, but then like now with like all the protesting and stuff and all of like the different struggles of power you see, it's a very like meaningful tattoo. My stomach is actually like the only place I really have room for like a huge tattoo, or my back, and I don't want to do my back just yet. So I picked the plate of like this like part of like where your abs sit of my stomach, and so I already have like these Japanese style like art going down my chest, so it'll just kind of match too. So it was kind of like all like it kind of like formed organically, so it was nice.
Mhm.
Like everything, man, just flowing.
Just yeah, I feel that. I feel that. All right, Justin. Well, before we kind of end out, one, I want to make sure everyone knows how to find you and just continue to support your journey. I know me personally, I'm definitely going to be watching it because I really love what you're doing. It's really important, and it's cool because I guess in a way you are kind of like sacrificing, um, like literally what you've done has kind of sacrificed your direction and trajectory. So, where can everyone go to find and follow you?
So our page for the work that we do is DC protests. So it's at DC. Let me just make sure I got it right because I know it's different on Twitter and Instagram. I just want to make sure I'm just gonna say this right.
I feel you. Yeah, I've got I'm so mad about it too. Like one, just on my personal, I have to have an underscore at the end of my thing, but on
Yeah,
BossLocks, I got Instagram. I'm so proud about that because at first I didn't, but I just kept checking. But Twitter, I have to have that underscore there. It's so annoying.
right. That's what happened. So we're the reverse. On Twitter we got it, but on Instagram we're DC underscore protest with an S underscore. So it's DC.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it's DC underscore protest with an S underscore. And that's like where we're most active. We have moved over to Twitter, and our Twitter is just DC protests. So it's nice. Like we just got on Twitter, which is DC protests, and it's really nice. But on Instagram, we have the underscores.
Gotcha. At least you have it on Twitter. I feel like Twitter is like a real good place for y'all to be.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Now, and oh, and what's your the website? Is it just dcprotest.com?
Yeah, it's dcprotest.com.
All right, cool. We'll have all that in the show notes and everything. But before we go, I really want to give you the chance just to share, speak on, or just say anything that kind of comes to mind. I feel as though there's, I don't know, there's a lot that could be said, but I just want, the floor is yours.
Right. So I just like to say thank you, first of all, for like, having me on the show and like just uplifting my story. It means a lot. I just like to say, this all of the things that we have done, I wouldn't change and I wouldn't have done any of this any different. The fight for black liberation, no matter how detrimental to like some of our futures that it has been. Like I know a lot of other organizers feel the same way. Like we wouldn't have changed it, and we still would have sacrificed and done everything we've done so far to continue this fight and to propel it forward. I just like to say thank you to everyone who supported us and the community that supported us and welcomed us with open arms. That's had to house us when we're running from police. That's how to say like let us spend the night when we're running from police. That's had to just like get us to where we need to go, pick us up from jail. Home cooked meals brought out to protest, just charging packs brought out to protest, just all the support that we give. I would just like to say thank you, and I'm so like grateful for just everyone and all the support. So I can't say how appreciative we are, and like my whole team is, and all the group here at DC Protest is as well, because like without the community, without all the support, we wouldn't be us. We couldn't make this happen. So it means a lot.
I just want money in the bank. Have no time for them. We just pray and say amen. Been here, boys, since way back when. I just want money in the bank.
All right, that is a wrap. Thank you for listening to the Boss Locks podcast. If you like today's episode, make sure you're subscribed and following us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And don't forget to check out the links in our description to learn more about our guests, how you can support our show, you can leave us a voice message, and become a member of the Working While Black Facebook group. Thank you all for listening today, and we'll see you Tuesday for our next episode.